Three boys thought they picked the perfect victim, the quiet new girl, alone at lunch, no friends in sight. But what they didn't know, her dad is a U.S. Army Ranger, and he trained her since she could walk. The moment they laid hands on her, she didn't scream. She moved. Fast. Precise. Brutal. What happened next left the entire school frozen. And it all started with one broken tray. First bell at Jefferson High cracked through the morning like a whip. Kids moved in fast, backpacks half-zipped, hoodies up, sneakers dragging. Everyone already knew where they were going. Friend groups were locked in, tables claimed. Drama picked up exactly where it left off Friday. Nobody paid attention to the new girl stepping through the double doors, except maybe the security guard by the vending machines, and even he didn't look twice. She didn't give him a reason. Maya James didn't look like trouble. She just looked blank. Not nervous, not eager, just quiet. The kind of quiet that's practiced, worn in. She had on a faded black hoodie with the sleeves pulled down past her wrists, plain dark jeans, and boots that didn't squeak when she walked. Polished but scuffed, like someone wiped them clean every day but actually used them. Her backpack looked like it belonged in a field op, not a hallway. Green military canvas, no keychains or patches, no Sharpie doodles, just a stitched name tag that read James. No first name, no sparkle. She moved like someone taught her how to move. Not all stiff, not trying to disappear, just efficient. Straight back, eyes forward, no wasted motion. She checked the yellow slip they gave her in the front office. Room 112, homeroom. She walked in 2 seconds before the late bell. Mr. Kellerman glanced up like he was already done with the day. "This is Maya James," he said without standing. "Transferred from Fort Riley. Army base." She gave one nod. Didn't say a word. She scanned the room quick, clocked all the faces, found the only open desk in the back corner, and walked straight there. Didn't wait for an invite. Didn't make eye contact. The other students were already whispering before she even sat down. Yo, she got that military vibe. Look at her boots. She's gonna cry by lunch. Watch. Maya pulled out a beat-up notebook, flipped it to a blank page, and uncapped her pen. Her posture didn't shift. She didn't acknowledge anyone. If she heard them, she didn't let it show. Her eyes drifted to the window, but her brain was somewhere else. She was already calculating exits, counting steps from her seat to the door. Not because she felt scared, because it was habit. The kind her dad drilled into her like multiplication tables. Know your environment, every hallway, every exit, every threat. Stay calm. Keep your hands loose, eyes up. You don't win fights by yelling first. You win them by being the one nobody sees coming. That night before school, he told her the same thing he always said before a new start. Let 'em talk, let 'em judge, but don't let 'em touch you. Not unless you're ready to finish it. Lunch came faster than she expected. She didn't talk to anyone all morning, not even when one teacher asked her to introduce herself. She just shook her head and kept it moving. By 11:52, the cafeteria roared with bodies and noise. Maya stepped in, slid her tray down the metal rail, grabbed what she needed: turkey sandwich, water, apple. She didn't care if it was warm. She'd eaten worse. She scanned the tables once, and that was enough. Every table was full, jocks laughing too loud, girls in matching scrunchies, kids glued to their phones. She didn't hesitate, just walked straight to the back corner near the emergency exit, half-shadowed by the vending machines. Nobody sat there. Nobody ever did. She liked it that way. She sat with her back to the wall, tray in front of her, water bottle within reach. She ate quick, efficient bites. No slouching, no daydreaming. She wasn't scared. She was watching. 3 tables over, Logan Parker, Jefferson's resident golden boy, was already clocking her like she was some kind of entertainment. Tall, built like a linebacker, chin always tilted like the world was beneath him. Next to him sat Reese, skinny, sarcastic, always smirking, and Tyrell, big and quiet, the kind of kid who didn't start trouble but didn't stop it either. Logan jabbed a thumb toward Maya. She's new. Looks like she might cry into her sandwich. Reese leaned over. Bet you $10 she flinches if you knock over her tray. Tyrell didn't say much, just watched. They didn't know her name, didn't know her history, didn't know she could drop all 3 of them before security even made it to the door. But Maya felt it. The change in air pressure, the weight of being watched. She didn't look, didn't react, just kept eating like nothing mattered. But in her head she was already ready like she always was. And if one of them got stupid, she wasn't the one who'd end up crying. The plan started with the dare. Logan didn't need a reason, he never did. He was the kind of guy who could turn boredom into cruelty without even thinking twice. The second he saw Maya sitting alone like she was invisible, like she thought she was untouchable, something in him decided, nah, that doesn't fly here. By the time 5th period rolled around, the whole thing was already in motion. He'd whispered it in homeroom to Reese, just loud enough for Tyrell to hear too. She thinks she's better than us. I give it 2 days before she breaks. Reese laughed. She's like a stray cat, all twitchy and antisocial. Want to poke it? Logan grinned. Bet you I can make her cry by Friday. It was Tuesday. That gave him 3 days. The first move was nothing big, just a little nudge, test the water. Reese accidentally bumped into her in the hallway outside English. She didn't even blink, no reaction. Just stepped sideways like it never happened and kept walking. Yo, she's cold, Reese said, actually impressed. But Logan wasn't. He wanted a crack, a real one. Something that would get a rise. At lunch the next day, Maya was in the same spot. Same tray, same seat, same quiet eyes scanning the room like she was on watch. Like she was waiting for something to happen. Logan didn't sit at his table that day. He stood near the vending machines, close enough for her to feel him. He didn't speak, just leaned on the wall, pretending to mess with his phone while watching her eat. She didn't look up once. That pissed him off more than if she had. Who the hell does she think she is? When she stood to leave, he stepped right into her path, like it was casual, like it was coincidence. Hey. Maya, right? His voice was syrupy fake, friendly on the outside, sharp underneath. She stopped, didn't answer, didn't nod, didn't even raise an eyebrow. So he leaned in just a little. You're new. Thought maybe someone should show you around. Make sure you don't get lost. She stared at him for 1 second too long. Not scared, not annoyed, just still. Cold. Then, calm as ice, she stepped sideways and walked around him like he wasn't there. Logan stood frozen for a beat. His boys were watching. A few other kids, too. And Maya? She didn't look back. That's when it stopped being a game. Because Logan Parker didn't get walked past. Not in his school. Not by some army brat with no friends and combat boots. He turned to Reese, face tight with that smirking rage guys like him mistake for pride. She's gonna regret that. Tyrell said nothing, just looked down at his tray and shoved a fry in his mouth like he already knew where this was headed. The next day was Thursday, and Logan wasn't planning on waiting till Friday. Thursday morning hit cold and gray. Sky like concrete, air thick with that pre-storm feeling that makes your skin buzz. Jefferson High looked the same as always. Kids shouting across hallways, teachers already tired before second period, lockers slamming like gunshots. But something felt off. Maya felt it the second she stepped inside. She didn't flinch, didn't change her walk, but her eyes were sharper, shoulders a little tighter. The halls weren't just loud today, they were focused. She caught glances from people who hadn't looked at her once all week, heard the low murmurs that didn't stop when she passed, like the school knew something was coming. And maybe they did. Because Logan wasn't smiling that morning. He wasn't loud, wasn't flirting with freshmen or dapping up his boys in the courtyard. He was watching her, waiting. Not from across the room either. He passed her twice that day, once near the gym, once in front of the science wing, close enough to brush shoulders. He didn't say a word either time, but his eyes did. Something was coming. That night at home, Maya's dad was in the garage, oiling a pair of training batons. The air smelled like metal and sweat and leather, the usual. Maya sat on the floor nearby, legs crossed, working silently on her homework. Math book open, pen in hand, head full of tension. "Someone bothering you?" her dad asked without looking up. She didn't answer right away. He turned slightly toward her, still wiping down the grip. "Maya." She looked up, didn't blink. "Not yet," she said, "but it's building." Her dad nodded once. He didn't ask for names, didn't ask for details. He didn't need to. "You been watching?" "Yes." "Clocking patterns?" "Yep." "Got your outs?" Back hallway. Custodian door near the cafeteria. Blind spot behind vending. He smiled. A short one. Almost proud. "Good. Now remember. First rule?" She repeated it without hesitation. "Don't start it. Don't invite it. Don't let ego write a check my body has to cash." He chuckled under his breath. "Damn right. Second rule? If they touch me, I finish it. That's my girl." He stood, picked up one baton, twirled it once between his fingers, and pointed it toward her like a sword. "You only fight when there's no other choice," he said. "But when you do, you end it fast, you end it clean, and you walk away first." Maya looked him dead in the eye. "I know, Dad." And she meant it. Back in her room, she laced her boots tighter than usual. Double knotted. She didn't need them for looks. She needed them for grip. Because the thing about people like Logan Parker, they always pushed one step too far. And tomorrow, he was going to take that step, and he wasn't ready. He wasn't. Thursday morning hit cold and gray. Sky like concrete, air thick with that pre-storm feeling that makes your skin buzz. Jefferson High looked the same as always. Kids shouting across hallways, teachers already tired before second period, lockers slamming like gunshots. But something felt off. Maya felt it the second she stepped inside. She didn't flinch, didn't change her walk, but her eyes were sharper, shoulders a little tighter. The halls weren't just loud today, they were focused. She caught glances from people who hadn't looked at her once all week, heard the low murmurs that didn't stop when she passed, like the school knew something was coming. And maybe they did, because Logan wasn't smiling that morning. He wasn't loud, wasn't flirting with freshmen or dapping up his boys in the courtyard. He was watching her, waiting, not from across the room either. He passed her twice that day, once near the gym, once in front of the science wing, close enough to brush shoulders. He didn't say a word either time, but his eyes did. Something was coming. That night, at home, Maya's dad was in the garage, oiling a pair of training batons. The air smelled like metal and sweat and leather. The usual. Maya sat on the floor nearby, legs crossed, working silently on her homework. Math book open, pen in hand, head full of tension. "Someone bothering you?" her dad asked without looking up. She didn't answer right away. He turned slightly toward her, still wiping down the grip. "Maya." She looked up, didn't blink. "Not yet," she said, "but it's building." Her dad nodded once. He didn't ask for names, didn't ask for details. He didn't need to. "You been watching?" "Yes." "Clocking patterns?" "Yep." "Got your outs?" "Back hallway. Custodian door near the cafeteria. Blind spot behind vending." He smiled. A short one, almost proud. "Good. Now remember, first rule?" She repeated it without hesitation. "Don't start it. Don't invite it. Don't let ego write a check my body has to cash." He chuckled under his breath. "Damn right. Second rule? If they touch me, I finish it. That's my girl." He stood, picked up one baton, twirled it once between his fingers, and pointed it toward her like a sword. "You only fight when there's no other choice," he said. "But when you do, you end it fast, you end it clean, and you walk away first." Maya looked him dead in the eye. "I know, Dad." And she meant it. Back in her room, she laced her boots tighter than usual, double knotted. She didn't need them for looks. She needed them for grip. Because the thing about people like Logan Parker, they always pushed one step too far. And tomorrow? Tomorrow, he was going to take that step, and he wasn't ready. Silence never lasted long in a high school. By the time Maya reached the front doors of the cafeteria, the silence had cracked. Whispers first, then full-on panic. "What the hell just happened?" "Yo, Logan's arm's broken." She didn't even flinch, bro. Like, at all. Did she train with Batman or something? Maya didn't look back. She walked the same way she came in. Calm, measured, boots hitting linoleum like clockwork. She dumped her tray in the bin, wiped her hands with a napkin, and walked out the side door without a single word. She didn't even take the damn stairs fast. But behind her, chaos was blooming. Logan was still curled up by the bench, moaning. Reese had both hands on his stomach, wheezing through what sounded like a collapsed lung. Tyrell was gone, literally dipped out the side door like someone lit it on fire. Phones were out everywhere. 2 angles. 3, maybe. Someone already uploaded it to Snap. One girl was editing it for TikTok with the caption, "Army girl bodied 2 guys in 5 secs." By the end of the lunch period, it had 13,000 views. Security showed up late, of course. They came jogging like they weren't sure if it was a real emergency or just kids being dramatic. One of them saw Logan still on the floor and radioed the nurse. Another started collecting witness statements. But every witness said the same thing. She didn't start it. He grabbed her first. She told him to back off. He didn't. She didn't attack. She reacted. Principal Harwick was waiting in his office with the blinds half shut and his coffee untouched. When the security guard brought in the footage, clean, full angle, perfect audio, he didn't even ask for the rest. He just sat there, silent, watching a 16-year-old girl flip a football captain and drop his hype man like a bag of groceries. Twice. Rewind. Play again. Then he hit pause and sighed. "Maya James," he said quietly, reaching for her file. Jesus Christ. Down in the nurse's office, Logan was trying to talk tough through gritted teeth while they wrapped his wrist and iced his ribs. "She jumped me, man. She went psycho." But even the nurse didn't buy it. She'd seen the footage. So had the dean. So had the damn lunch lady. And everyone was thinking the same thing. That girl wasn't psycho. She was precise. At 3:10 p.m., Maya sat in the front office waiting. She didn't look nervous. She didn't ask what was happening. She didn't even touch her phone. She just sat there, legs crossed, hands folded in her lap like she'd done it 100 times before. Because she had. because she'd been taught that when you do the right thing the right way, you don't need to explain yourself. And right now, the only ones scrambling for explanations were the ones who picked the wrong girl. At exactly 3:32 p.m., the front doors of Jefferson High opened. The secretary didn't even look up, at first. But then she felt it. A shift in the air, like something heavy had entered the room without making a sound. She glanced up, and her hands paused mid-keyboard. He didn't need to say his name. He wore his uniform like armor, dark green fatigues, sleeves rolled, boots laced high and tight, name tag over his heart, S. James. His chest said, "Discipline." His face said, "Try me." Sergeant William James walked like someone who knew exactly where he was going. No hesitation, no wasted words. He stepped into the main office like he'd been deployed there. The principal's door swung open fast. "Mr. James?" Principal Harwick started, standing halfway. "Sergeant," the man corrected. "Right, of course." They shook hands, but it wasn't friendly. It was formal, cold, like two men acknowledging the terms of engagement. Maya sat calmly in the corner. She didn't flinch, didn't smile. She gave her dad a slight nod. That was enough. "Let's talk about what happened," the principal said. But Sergeant James was already ahead of him. He reached into the inside pocket of his jacket and pulled out a flash drive, set it on the desk. "Full footage, same one you already saw. One angle's mine, from my daughter's training cam. She keeps it rolling, always. Habit." Harwick blinked. "You have training footage?" Sergeant James nodded. "She's been training since she was 6. Knife disarm, ground defense, joint lock de-escalation. Nothing she did in that cafeteria was aggressive. It was textbook control, controlled strength, minimal damage." He leaned forward just slightly. She warned them, verbally. She gave them space. She only acted after direct, physical contact. Harwick shifted in his chair. "Still, we have to consider public image. The parents. This could look bad." "Good," the sergeant said. "Let it look bad. Let parents ask why their kids were surrounding a girl at lunch, provoking her for 3 days straight and putting hands on her. You don't want heat? Maybe raise better boys?" Silence. Real silence. Not the awkward kind. The dangerous kind. The "he's right and everyone knows it" kind. The door opened again. Logan's mom stormed in first. Designer purse, furious eyes, hair perfect and attitude louder than her heels. Reese's dad followed, quieter but already ready to defend his son. Tyrell's mom stayed in the hallway, not even wanting to sit in the same room. "She broke my son's wrist!" Logan's mom snapped. Harwick opened his mouth, but Sergeant James beat him to it. "No, ma'am. Your son broke his own wrist when he grabbed a girl who told him not to." He turned to her, slow and steady. "Your son made a choice. My daughter made a correction." The woman froze, stared at him like she couldn't decide if she was offended or scared, maybe both. "We're pressing charges," she snapped. "Then I'll countersue for harassment and battery," James said. Calm, clinical. "We can let a judge look at the footage. I'd be happy to testify." Reese's dad just sat back, quiet now, because the truth was clear, and the tape didn't lie. By the time the meeting ended, Maya had said exactly 5 words. "They touched me. I reacted." That was it. The school backed off. No suspension, no record. Just a quiet line added to her file. Student demonstrated self-defense under pressure. No apology from the bullies. No press. No assembly. Just silence. And eyes. A lot of them. Watching her now. Not with judgment. With respect. With caution. Because Maya James wasn't just the new girl anymore. She was the girl who took down 2 guys in 4 seconds and walked away clean. The story didn't stay in the cafeteria. By Monday morning, it had jumped fences. Nobody said how it spread so fast, but everyone knew. By second period, even the janitor was watching the clip on his phone. Every classroom had at least one kid whispering about that new girl who bodied Logan Parker like she was John Wick's niece. But the video was only part of the story. The real weight came after, when people figured out who her dad was. Some freshman thought he was Special Forces. Another kid swore up and down he was CIA. The truth? Somewhere in between. The facts came out slow, but they landed hard. Sergeant William James, U.S. Army Ranger, 3 combat tours, close quarters specialist, now a tactics instructor at Fort Benning. And Maya? Yeah. She trained under him, every weekend, every summer. While other girls were playing soccer and downloading TikTok dances, Maya was learning wrist breaks and pressure points, blindfolded takedowns and disarms. And not in a cute karate chop way either. The real stuff. Yo, she wasn't just defending herself. Someone said at lunch. She was calculating angles, man. Like chess with bones. Even teachers started looking sideways at her. Not in fear, in awe. One of them, Mr. Bishop from history class, even said it out loud. She didn't explode. She executed. That's discipline. That week, Principal Harwick called a full staff meeting, off the record. He pulled up the video again. No narration, just play and silence. They all watched the same 6 seconds. Logan grabbing her shoulder, Maya locking his arm and slamming him into the table. Reese going for a move, stopped instantly, folded in half. No blood, no rage, no hesitation. Just cold control. When the clip ended, Harwick leaned on the podium and said, "She didn't panic. She didn't escalate. She neutralized." A math teacher raised her hand. "Are we supposed to be scared of her now?" "No," Harwick said. "We're supposed to learn from her." Later that week, someone from the base showed up at the school, not military police, PR liaison. They dropped off a sealed folder with Maya's full training history and a letter from her father. "To whom it may concern, my daughter is trained in restraint, not violence. She responds to threat only when necessary. She is not a danger. She is a shield. Treat her as such. Signed, Sergeant William James, stamped. Official." By Friday, the whispers stopped being whispers. People didn't avoid Maya. They respected her. Nodded when she walked by. Gave her space. Not out of fear, but something sharper. Recognition. She wasn't invisible anymore. She was legend. Monday came again. Same school, same schedule, same lunch bell. But Maya James, not the same. She walked into the cafeteria like always. Calm, collected, quiet. But this time, heads didn't just turn. They nodded. Not a word spoken, not a smile forced. Just recognition. People saw her now, not as the new girl, not as that army brat, but as her. Nobody tried to block her path. Nobody tested her. The same table in the back corner was still empty, but this time, she didn't walk to it. A girl from her English class, Jayla, waved her over. Maya paused. For the first time in a long time, she didn't calculate escape routes. She didn't check corners. She just walked over and sat down. It wasn't about friendship. Not yet. But it was an open door. And Maya knew how rare those were. At the next table over, Logan sat with his arm in a soft brace, sunglasses on indoors like that made him invisible. He didn't look at her. Not once. Reese still wasn't back. Tyrell nodded at Maya when she passed. Just once. She nodded back. That was all. Later that day, in the gym hallway, a freshman accidentally bumped into her. He froze. Maya just stepped back and said, "You're good." That was the moment it really shifted. Not when she fought, not when the video went viral, but when she made it safe for someone else to move. Her dad picked her up after school in the same black Jeep he always drove. She climbed in, tossed her bag in the back, and buckled up without a word. He looked at her once, sideways. "You okay?" he asked. Maya nodded. He didn't press, but before he pulled out of the parking lot, he said, "You didn't just defend yourself. You made a statement." She looked out the window and said low, "I didn't do it for them." A beat. Then she added, "I did it so I could eat my lunch in peace." He smiled. Mission accomplished. And that was it. No parade, no speech, no plaque. Just Maya James, walking through Jefferson High not like someone who beat anybody, but like someone no one ever underestimated again.